Tell me if this sounds familiar. You said you'd never compromise your values for money. You said it didn't matter that much to you. You said you were different. And then, slowly, quietly, without you even noticing, it became the thing you thought about when you woke up, the thing that determined how you felt about yourself on any given day, the invisible measuring stick you used to decide whether your life was going well or falling apart. Sound familiar? You are not broken. You are not shallow. You are not failing some moral test. You are human. And what I'm about to share with you is the reason why, no matter how evolved, how spiritual, how above it all someone believes they are, money gets inside the mind of nearly every single person on Earth. Not because we're all greedy, but because of something far older, far deeper, and far more fascinating than greed. Let me ask you something nobody usually asks out loud. How do you feel when you check your bank account? Not think, feel. Because for most people, that number on a screen doesn't just represent dollars. It represents safety, or the absence of it. It represents worth, or the fear of not having any. It represents freedom, or the cage they can't yet afford to leave. Think about the last time money was tight, really tight. Remember how it followed you? Into conversations that had nothing to do with it, into your sleep, into your relationships, or it sat quietly in the corner of every argument that seemed to be about something else entirely. And think about the last time you had more than you needed, even briefly. Remember the lightness? The way problems that used to feel enormous suddenly felt manageable? The way you walked slightly differently, talked slightly differently, held yourself slightly differently? Money didn't change your circumstances that.
Here is what psychology actually says about why money does this to us. The brain doesn't know the difference between money and survival. In the earliest periods of human existence, long before currency, long before economies, survival depended on resource security. Food, shelter, protection, the ability to provide for yourself and your group. The brain developed an entire system, a vigilant, never-sleeping alarm network dedicated to tracking resource security. Here is the critical thing. That system never updated. When your bank account drops dangerously low, your nervous system does not register financial inconvenience. It registers threat to survival. The same neurological alarm that once fired when food was scarce fires today when the rent check clears with nothing left over. This is why money stress feels so physical. The tight chest, the shallow breathing, the inability to sleep, the intrusive thoughts at 3 a.m. Your body isn't being dramatic. It is responding to what it genuinely.
Money as a proxy for everything we actually want. Here is the psychological layer most people never reach. Nobody actually wants money. What they want is what they believe money will deliver. Safety, freedom, respect, love, choices, time, proof. Proof that they matter, that they made it, that the childhood that told them they'd never be enough was wrong. For enormous numbers of people, particularly in America, where financial success is deeply woven into cultural identity, money is not a resource. It is a report card. A report card on their worth as a human being. And that is why the obsession never fully resolves. Because no amount of money can permanently answer the question underneath it. Am I enough? Is not a question that a bank balance can answer. Let's talk about something that sounds strange, but is psychologically real. People have relationships with money. Not metaphorically, psychologically, functionally. Relationships with emotional texture, history, and deeply personal meaning. Financial therapists, yes, that is a real and growing field, consistently find that their clients' relationship with money mirrors their relationship with people. Someone raised in a household where money was scarce and unpredictable will often approach their finances with anxiety, hoarding, or extreme risk aversion, the same patterns they developed around unpredictable caregivers. Someone raised where money was used as control, given and withdrawn as reward and punishment, often grows up with a complicated push-pull dynamic, craving financial success while self-sabotaging it, because unconsciously, abundance feels like threat. Someone who never saw money discussed openly, treated as shameful or secret, often carries deep shame around their own financial reality, regardless of what that reality actually is. The love language of money. In the United States, and this is cultural, not universal, money has become one of the primary love languages. Not in the pop psychology sense, in the behavioral sense. Parents show love by providing financially, and children internalize that equation. Being cared for equals
Why rich people are still anxious about money obsession? It doesn't stop at rich. Studies on high net worth individuals consistently show anxiety levels that do not correspond to their financial security. People with millions lie awake worrying about money. Billionaires obsess over competitors' wealth. The reason is simple and devastating. If money was ever your primary answer to the question of safety, no amount of it will ever feel like enough. Because the question was never really about money. The wound that money was meant to heal doesn't close when the account balance rises. It only closes when the wound itself is addressed.
Let's step back even further. Because the individual psychology of money obsession doesn't exist in a vacuum. It exists inside a culture, particularly American culture, that has constructed an entire identity around financial achievement. The American money mythology. The United States was built, narratively, culturally, mythologically, on the idea that financial success is not just possible for anyone, but that it is the primary measure of a life well lived. The American dream is not, at its core, about happiness. It is about prosperity. And while that myth has driven extraordinary innovation and ambition, it has also created something psychologically corrosive. The belief that financial struggle is a personal failure, that poverty is a character flaw, that wealth is proof of virtue. When an entire culture tells you that your bank account reflects your worth as a human being, and then places you in an economic system that makes financial security genuinely difficult for enormous numbers of people, you produce a population in chronic, low-grade financial anxiety. Not crazy, not greedy, afraid, and told that
Here is the twist that I think about most. Everything in this video, the neuroscience, the psychology, the cultural conditioning, points to the same conclusion. The obsession with money is not really about money. It never was. It is about the things money has been asked to stand in for: safety, worth, love, freedom, belonging, proof. And here is I want to end with something simple. Money is real. Financial security matters. The stress of not having enough is not imaginary and not a character flaw. It is a genuine, serious human difficulty. I am not here to tell you that money doesn't matter. I am here to tell you that why it matters to you, the specific emotional weight it carries in your particular life, is worth understanding. Because when you understand it, something shifts. You stop confusing net worth with self-worth. Stop measuring your Mondays by your bank balance. Stop deferring your sense of okayness to a number that will always be either too low or just barely enough. You start to notice that the things you actually wanted from money, peace of mind, time, freedom, love, the feeling of being okay, some of those things are available to you right now in forms that don't require a certain dollar amount first. Not all of them. The financial piece is real and it matters. But some of them, and the ones that aren't available yet,
you can pursue them clearly